right. Thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, totally.
Good morning. Very happy to meet you. I'm going to be your nutrition counselor for today. My name is Tamra. How would you like to be addressed today?
Genevieve is good.
Genevieve. Okay, great. Thank you, Genevieve. Just go ahead, take a seat right there. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Awesome. So basically, today I'm going to be asking you a series of questions about your eating patterns. Have you ever met with a nutrition counselor before?
I have.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. So as a peer educator, I'm going to provide nutrition education on 3 topics. And we've already talked a little bit about which one you wanted to do. Are you still interested in learning about eating a balanced diet?
Yes.
Great. I just want you to know that you can stop me at any time if you feel uncomfortable. I am going to be videotaping this. It is just for my professor, Dr. George. You will not be on the video. And my peer, which is you, is going to be observing and taking notes. But only Dr. George will be able to view this information. Can I just get a verbal consent?
Yes. That's all right.
Okay. All right. So, I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions just to get to give me a better idea about some of the things that you are dealing with. So first, what grade are you? What year?
This is my 4th year.
4th year, so senior. And then, do you live on campus or off campus?
I live off campus.
Campus. And then, do you commute to campus?
I do.
And about how long does that take you?
About 45 minutes on public transportation. I also have a car, and that's like probably like 10 minutes.
10 minutes by car? All right. And the next couple questions are going to be more geared towards food. So how often would you say you buy meals on a typical weekday, so Monday through Friday? So for example, if you're on campus, you buy breakfast or lunch, or at restaurants or fast food joints. Would you say never, rarely, sometimes, often, or always?
Probably never.
Never?
Yeah.
Nice. And then how often would you say you buy meals on a typical weekend? So just Saturday and Sunday, on that same scale. So never, rarely, sometimes, often, or always?
Sometimes.
Sometimes on weekends? Great. And then what about snacks? So that could be coffee or a bar or fruit or something like that, just a little quick bite to eat. So never, rarely, sometimes, often, or always?
Probably sometimes.
Sometimes? Awesome. Great. All right, so now I'm going to take a moment and just put that in. So it looks like you did sometimes twice and then never for buying meals. So now we're just going to move on to conducting a 24-hour diet recall. I'm going to be talking about the foods and beverages, like all those little things that you had yesterday, starting from the morning when you woke up to the time you went to bed. And we'll do it in 3 different passes. So first I'll ask you to do just a quick list of what you ate, and then we'll add in the details, and then I'll just make sure it's all right and go over a review with you. And then while you're providing details, I have some common objects that'll help you kind of assist the precise amounts and measurements to help you remember a little bit better. All right, so starting off.
This is gonna be hard. I don't remember.
I know.
Wednesday. Oh, okay, I remember.
Yesterday was Wednesday. All right,
A lot.
so let's begin. What was the first item that you ate or drank yesterday?
So I had a 16-ounce glass of coffee, or mug of coffee, with probably a tablespoon of half and half.
Tablespoon? So a tablespoon is about the amount of this ping pong ball. About half of this ping pong ball is a tablespoon. Does that seem about right?
Yeah.
Cool. And about what time was that at?
Probably yesterday. It was Wednesday, so I got up to study for that exam. Probably at 5.
5 a.m.?
Yeah.
And were you at home when you had this?
I was at home.
Great. All right, and then after that?
I had a half a cup of oatmeal with some yogurt, almonds, walnuts, and raisins, and ground flax.
All right, and then about how much yogurt would you say you added in?
Probably less than a quarter cup.
Less than a quarter cup? All right. And about what time was that at? Was that also first thing in the morning?
That might have been. I was eating while I was driving. Oh my gosh, it's cool. Bad idea. But I got to school like probably 8.
8 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And what about after that?
Had a soft-boiled egg for a snack.
Were you still at school?
I was.
And around what time was that
This might have been at like 10.
tonight? And did you add anything to that? Salt or pepper?
No, it was just the egg.
All right. And after that?
After that I had more coffee. About the same amount, 16-ounce mug and like a tablespoon of half and half.
All right. And about what time was that at?
Around the same time, like 10.
10?
You could say like 10. It was like right after, so maybe 10, 15.
And still at school?
Yes.
All right. After that?
I had lunch. No, just kidding. I had another snack for lunch. It was just like some more nuts, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, almonds, dried figs, and dried apricot. This is like a little mix that I make, that I like mix at home. Like I have all of these things like in bulk, and then
Said walnuts, dried figs.
dried figs and dried apricots, almonds and pumpkin seeds.
And walnuts, right?
And walnuts, yes, thank you.
Great. And then how late was that at? Your cup of coffee was about 10:15. So the nuts were
Probably around 2.
2? And still at school?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. And then for lunch?
I lunched pretty late. I ate like at 5 or maybe 6. It was probably more like 6. It was a quinoa salad with garbanzo beans, onions, what else? Bell pepper, feta cheese, cucumber, and arugula. Oh, I had a smoothie too. I forgot. That's why I didn't eat lunch until very late, because I had a smoothie in class. So the smoothie was probably at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
With the boiled egg?
Yes. No. See, that was later.
So it's before the boiled egg, the smoothie?
Yeah, that would make more sense. Yes. So then Actually, no. So the boiled egg was before. Sorry.
Okay.
Was before the smoothie while I was still in the library waiting for class. So that means it was before 9:30. So between 8 and 9:30 is when I had the soft boiled egg. And then I got into class, and then I had the smoothie, which had yogurt, spirulina, spinach, banana, and frozen berries, and hemp seeds.
Hemp seeds are good for you. All right, so yogurt, spirulina, spinach, frozen berries, hemp seeds. All right.
And banana? Did you say banana? Banana, yeah.
Banana. All right, and then back to 6 p.m. So after you had your quinoa salad, is there anything else after that?
No, that was it. And then that was also at school. And then I went home. And then I had dinner, which was the same salad, quinoa salad, and a grass-fed ground beef patty.
And about how big would you say the patty was? This is a representation for 3 ounces of meat. Would you say it was bigger than this?
It's probably that same size, but it's like thinner.
Thinner? So maybe like 2 ounces?
No, probably like that same size.
Same size?
But it just like, the same weight, but it just wasn't as big because it was like flatter.
All right, and then about what time was that at when you were at home?
Probably like 9.
9?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then anything after that?
Chocolate chips.
Just plain chocolate chips?
Yeah. Semi-sweet chocolate chips that you buy in bulk.
Were they semi-sweet?
Semi-sweet, yeah.
All right, and that was at about what time?
That was before dinner. Probably like around, probably around 8.
Get the door. Around 8. And then that was also at home?
Yes.
All right, is that everything that you can remember?
Yes.
All right, well, let's go through it one more time. So you woke up at 5 a.m. and had a 16-ounce cup of coffee with 1 tablespoon of half and half at home. And then at 8 a.m. you were on your way to school. At school, you had half a cup of oatmeal with about 1/4 of a cup of yogurt in it. And on top you added almonds, walnuts, raisins, and ground flax. About how much of that would you say that you added on?
Probably like 3. It wouldn't even be like a weighted amount, but
Be
more
like
just like 3 nuts. Like if you were to
3 nuts.
Yeah, like 3 of each nut, pretty much, and like.
What about the flax? Like one of these guys?
Yeah, I would say maybe 1/4.
1/4?
Yeah. Or actually, no, probably 1/2.
Half?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Great. And that was at 8 a.m. You had that. And then from 8:30 to 9, you had a soft-boiled egg while in the library, with just plain, nothing added on it. And then you had your second cup of coffee, so another 16-ounce cup of coffee with a tablespoon of half and half. And then at 10 a.m. approximately, you had a smoothie which had yogurt, spirulina, spinach, frozen berries, hemp seeds, and banana. Did you make this at home?
I did.
But you just had it at school?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then how big would you say that would be? This is 12 ounces to here, this line right here.
Probably 16.
16 as well?
Yeah. It's like the bigger mason jars. It's like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Like 16.
And then And then you had your little nut mixture, which was walnuts, pumpkin seeds, almonds, dried figs, dried apricots. And then you ate that at school, but made it at home. And that was around 2 o'clock. And
I didn't eat very much of that, though, because I was pretty full.
yeah. How much would you say you did eat?
Probably like 4 dried figs and 1 dried apricot. And like 2 walnuts and 4 almonds.
Were they like full figs, full apricots, or were they chopped?
They were full.
All right. And then 6 p.m. still at school, you had the salad, which was also made at home.
Yes.
And it was a quinoa salad with garbanzo beans, onions, bell pepper, feta, and cucumber and arugula. And then about how much of that would you say you ate?
Probably maybe like a cup, or maybe a cup and a half.
Awesome. And then 8 p.m. before dinner at home, you had chocolate chips, semi-sweet chocolate chips, and
Too many of them.
too many. About how many would you say?
Handfuls or what? Like 3 ounces?
I've got these guys to help. 1/4 of a cup, 1/2 a cup.
Probably a cup.
A cup?
No, I don't know.
Like, all right.
Maybe I don't know. I feel like it was more than 1/2 a cup, but it wasn't a cup.
It's like 2/3.
Maybe a little bit more than that. Yeah, let's just say
4/5.
2/3.
2/3.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And then after that, you finished off the same salad, but added a 3-ounce grass-fed beef patty.
Yes.
At around 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome. And then all of this, would you say that this is a usual day for you?
No.
No?
Usual in that I usually cook at home and stuff, but I did eat a lot, like,
More
that
than
day.
you?
Yeah. Which is nice, because I haven't had an appetite, so
Awesome.
that was good.
All right. All right, thanks so much for sharing all that with me. So now, just as a review, the topic that you wanted to go over was eating a balanced diet. Is that still what you want to focus on?
Yeah.
Great. So I want to work together to create a SMART goal for you. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So the most successful lifestyle changes occur when you make a SMART and when you make a goal SMART and you understand the level of motivation and readiness that you're at right now. So, looking to the future, what is something that you would like to put as your goal for eating a more balanced diet?
I always want to eat more vegetables.
Eat more vegetables?
Yeah.
And then how would we be able to measure this? Do you want to do a, like over a 2-week span, keep track of how many vegetables you eat per day, or?
Yeah, I guess doing like the exercise that we just did, something similar, like a food log or something.
Food logging?
Yeah, I feel like that would be really helpful. Because I feel like I don't eat enough vegetables, but then my boyfriend's always like, you eat a lot of vegetables. I'm like, I need to eat more vegetables.
All right. Great. So for right now, we have your SMART goal as being able to eat more vegetables over a 2-week span. Does that sound good?
Sure.
And then we'll be able to measure that by logging. Awesome. All right, so thank you for answering the questions about your diet. And so on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being least ready and then 10 being the most ready, how ready would you say you are to make this change?
Probably a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. And then, all right, so are you interested in learning a little bit more about how to eat a balanced meal?
Yeah.
Great. So, I have this handout for you. So this is My Plate. Have you ever heard of My Plate?
I have not.
No?
Tell me about it.
All right, so it's similar to the food pyramid, but it's kind of a newly updated one. Basically, when you look at it, you can see that you want about half of every plate that you eat to be filled with fruits and vegetables, and then the other half to be grains and then protein as well, but you want more grains than protein. And then there's dairy off to the side as well. So with the fruits and vegetables, the best rule of thumb to keep in mind is to have at least half of your plate be fruits and vegetables. And looking at your food log that I just did, if we take a look back at your lunch from yesterday, which was your quinoa salad, which had garbanzo beans, onions, bell pepper, feta, cucumber, arugula, do you feel like about half of that would have been vegetables or fruit? We had the onions, there's the bell pepper, cucumber, arugula.
Yeah, I think the majority of it was quinoa and beans, but I think like the cucumber and onion and bell pepper were like chopped like pretty small and then just like sprinkled in.
But do you feel like they still took up some bulk?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
So that is a pretty vegetable, salads. Lots of vegetables and salads. And so, so fruits and vegetables are really good for us. They're really high in lots of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, fibers, and helps to lower our body's sodium levels, fat, calories, all that sorts of things. So it is really important to get them into your diet. In terms of protein, you definitely ate a lot of, I would say, bean and like plant-based proteins throughout the day. You did have the one beef patty and then the little bit of chicken, I believe.
Egg.
The egg.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken egg. So the egg and the beef patty, but then a lot of your salad, as you said, was beans, the garbanzo beans, and then you had all the nuts, the legumes, and all that sorts of stuff, which also counts for protein. And so when you do eat animal-based protein, it is important to eat lean or low-fat meat and poultry to also decrease the fat intake. And I didn't ask before, but for the beef patty, how did you prepare that?
In a non-stick pan.
Non-stick pan?
Mm-hmm. With no added oil. Yeah.
Awesome.
It was frozen, so I just like threw it on there.
Great. Awesome. And then for your grains, which is this one right here, it's important to get at least half of the total amount of grains in your day to be whole grain, which you did have quinoa, you had the flax, it's a grain, and then you also had mainly, I guess that's it, was the quinoa that you had in your salad and the oatmeal that you had for breakfast. And in terms of dairy is important because it is a leading, gives you calcium in your diet. And you had just a little bit, the teaspoon or tablespoon of half and half in your coffee in the morning, but it doesn't seem like you had that much more. Oh, and your yogurt. Your yogurt also throughout the day.
What's the recommended amount of dairy?
Let me see. I don't have that yet. I believe it's just like a glass, so probably like anywhere from 12 ounces, just so that you get your daily 3 cups, just so you get your daily amount of calcium in. But it's really easy to get those in other places, such as fortified foods, lots of all the milks that they make, the alternative milks. Those ones are also really great because they're fortified generally, and so you can still get the nutrients that you need while not drinking a actual cow dairy product or an animal dairy product, but just getting it from the plant-based ones. Also things like fortified juices and fortified cereals, bread, all that sort of stuff also has it in there as well. So looking at this little handout, specifically in the vegetable category, because that is something that you want to focus on, under the dark green category right here, is there any that you would want to be eating? Any that you believe you could add into your diet easily? Or ones that you already do? Because I know you said you use the arugula in your salad, which is a great dark green. And then there's things like broccoli that are easy to find, kale, even romaine lettuce, the dark leafy greens, mustard greens, spinach, all that stuff. Any of those?
I use spinach in my smoothies. Maybe eating more of that, like, in salads. That, kale, and broccoli are definitely all things that I like.
Awesome. And then under the red and orange vegetable section.
Squash. I love squash, and I love yams. And tomatoes. I love tomatoes so much.
Oh, cool. All right, and then is there anything in the other columns right there?
I like asparagus, and avocado is a fruit, not a vegetable. I like bean sprouts. But yeah, I could definitely eat a lot of these. Garlic, I put in everything. Okra. Snow peas.
Onion is on there as well.
Onion,
lots of onion.
Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. Mushrooms.
Awesome. So it looks like there's lots of options out there. So in terms of being able to, okay, in terms of being able to fit these into your diet on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you, or how easily do you believe that this would be something you could do over the next 2 weeks?
Very, very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that's like a 7 or an 8?
Probably like a 10.
A 10?
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of, for me, like, being aware of what I'm eating, and by having a food log, like, I'm able to do that. Because like you said, like, I have a lot of options, and I like to eat vegetables. It's just like, doing it.
Awesome. And then why, if you're so confident with your ability to, why would it not be a 9 and not a 10? Like, what gives you that extra step to make it like a yes, I'm going to do this?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What gets you to that 10 instead of it being a 9 where there's still a little bit of uncertainty? How did you get to all the way to a 10?
Well, kind of just like knowing that it's good for me and the benefits that it has. Also, like I said, it's not like I have like a dislike to these vegetables. Like, I love vegetables. So it's not like hard to consume them when I'm aware of my desire to consume them. I feel like I eat a lot more vegetables when I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
Then if I just like fall into this like lull of like a high carb diet.
Awesome. So, it seems like you're very ready to be able to do this. So after hearing some of the information, do you see any like of the links that it has to your diet plan? And like what the things that are your diet patterns, not the plan, but the patterns that you've been eating, the links to have, be able to like implement all the vegetables and the different quantities of them into your already diet?
Yeah, definitely. I think I can, at least like from like the meal that I ate yesterday, like maybe I could eat more greens in that salad as opposed to quinoa.
Awesome.
And that way eat more vegetables.
All right, so let's update your SMART goal that we created. So before it was to just eat more vegetables by food logging over a 2-week span. And then at that point you were at a level 10 readiness, which I hope you still are.
Yeah.
So is there anything you want to update about this?
Maybe I could say we could pick Brussels sprouts and then have that be, like, I can eat more Brussels sprouts.
Since we're doing it over like a 2-week span, do you want to choose like 3 different?
So I'll do Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and squash.
And squash?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So why don't I have you read that out loud? Just the one right there.
Log food for 2 weeks and eat more Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and squash.
Awesome. And then at the end of these 2 weeks, what do you hope to see from this? Just an increase in overall intake, or an increase in those specific ones, or other vegetables as well?
I guess overall, I just want to eat more vegetables. But those I know that I like, so it'll be easier to prep those.
Awesome. All right, so one last thing. In about 2 weeks, how will you be able to compare? Are you just going to look at amounts that you ate from this food log that we took today? Or did you want to compare that to your food log in 2 weeks? Or did you want to do like a general like steady going up? Or just tomorrow you're going to go all in and eat some vegetables? Do you want it to be like gradual, or just...
We can go all in.
All in?
I'll probably eat more vegetables today.
All right.
I talked about it.
All right. Awesome. So thank you for participating with me, and I'm glad that we got a good SMART goal for you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too.
And learning about your goals and interests, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll shake your hand now. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.